At the tip of Borneo, Sabah, is the beautiful coastal city Kota Kinabalu. Today, we head out to Sutra Harbour, a luxurious community hosting hotel resorts and an exclusive golf and country club built around a magnificent marina looking out to the South China Sea. There is a residential area here sandwiched between the sea and the lush greenery. And here we find a shy family man who had collected a delightful selection of tropical plants and put them together beautifully. So in this episode, we'll pick up great ideas on what plants to use when building our own tropical garden and concepts in plant displays that is both pleasing to the eye and loved by the plants. He is also a closet plant lover with the most amazing collection of anthuriums and bromeliads. This is Bromeliad chili con carne, and it looks like it's been involved in a violent, bloody murder scene. In this video, we will learn how he successfully propagated lots of anthuriums and the secret to preventing burnt, crispy leaves on our variegated plants. And fun fact, I was very taken by the appearance of this leaf. Kicap patina. What's it called? Kacip patima. And then discovered that this plant is said to increase the female health. Is it for libido or something? Yeah, it's for libido. And libido. Now let's go leafing around. So we're starting with the side yard, and here we have a manicured tree. So it looks like a smallish tree where then he could grow all these shade-loving plants underneath. We are seeing here some bird nest fern, some Selaginella, and then there is a Plummonii here that's sitting, and it's a very good idea to ground up Plummonii because it is a creeping terrestrial type of philodendron. There are some nice trees that has been planted first, and it's also nicely managed for size so it doesn't get too large. Then all these other things are added on under the trees. So you could see this, I think it's a Monstera Adansonii large form or something else that's climbing up. Then we've got the staghorn hanging down. It's all so well balanced. And then this Alocasia is right at the bottom. I am guessing maybe they would enjoy a bit more light than what they have right now because they're looking a little droopy. I have the same problem at home. I don't give my Alocasia enough light, and as a result, they are not growing at their best. I think these are Mame, and also a very good idea to have them on the ground because this is a terrestrial philodendrons. Okay, oh yeah, if you take a good look here, you can see how well these are hugging the trees. So if you do have trees at home, remember that they are your natural moss pole and you should take advantage of them. There is so many other roots and stuff that's climbing on it. I wonder what other plants they are. Okay, here we see again the Scindapsus. If you come over here, there's a very good view of it. I think this is something that's local, belonging from Borneo. And before we leave this section, I just want to show you what's hidden down here. We have the Certosperma Humblei. I think a really unique shape. It's kind of like the Mercedes logo. And then here we have the Alocasia heterophylla, also known as the Alocasia corazon. It seems to be loving it on the ground underneath quite a bit of shade. And then the other striking Alocasia here is Alocasia Saturn. I also have this, and this is really great contrast. The leaf is practically black in color, a really spectacular plant. Now let's feast our eye on the Anthurium buffet. Here we have an extensive variation of Anthurium, Clarivernum, and Crystallinum. This one catches my eye. It's the dark form Crystallinum and has the most spectacular contrast. And down here we have this little one called the King Clarivernum. This chubbier one here is the Queen Clarivernum. So now we have them right next to each other. Left is the king, right is the queen. Can you tell the difference? The king is slightly elongated. This leaf here is most unusual, round with overlapping ears and has these dark properties and very complicated veins. This beauty here is the result of a cross between the crystallinum and the warocquinum, or the anthurium queen. So if you are ever curious what that looks like, well, I think yes, it is quite predictable. You get these great veins and also the lovely long shape from the queen. Are also curious about what happens when you cross a forgetii and a crystallinum. This is the hybrid that will result, and I think you could really see the traits of the forgetii, that round lobed leaf, and also the lovely veins that the crystallinum gives. Here, he demonstrates how to pollinate by hand. So first, you find an inflow that is in the male stage. This is typically, it's quite dry, and then you could see this little fluffy white pollen on it. And then you go find another inflow that has entered the female stage. So how do you know when an inflorescence has entered the female stage? Well, it has this sticky, wet substance. So you just, coat that with the same hand that you have collected the pollen from. So in this pot here are the anthurium seedlings, and this is the size after 6 months. So then what he does is he puts the seeds in a mix of sekam padi as burnt rice husk and also perlite. And then it is left under some trees plus also the netting. And here you could see a whole lot of other seedlings. I'm surprised he didn't label them actually. How can he remember which is which? Okay, so this is an interesting size now. You're starting to see its veins, and this is after about 1 year. So just to set your expectations here, if you're growing from seeds, it's not going to be a fast process. You can get a lot of plants, but it's going to take a lot of patience before it grows into something that we have seen before. And so I will lead you now down to the pathway. As you can see, he's got plants growing on both sides, so creating like a nice footpath that's enveloping it, keeping that cozy feeling in a large space. So this is one idea that you can make a garden more cozy, that you would have things growing to divide up the spaces so you don't see everything at once. Kind of give a sense of wonder as you walk along. Oh, this nearly escaped me. This is the variegated, the Musa Florida banana, and I'm actually very impressed because I don't see any burnt bits. Usually there are bits that are burnt on the leaves, so I have to ask what's the secret later. Little droplets are so pretty. So the secret I just found out for not getting burnt leaves is that he planted them on the ground. So he noticed that when they were in a pot, it was much more susceptible to burn. For some reason, we're not sure why, but then he planted it on the ground and now it's no longer burnt. So you could try this too for your own variegated banana tree. And now I find it very exciting what's down here. This is Labicia, and locally they even call it kicap patina. What's it called? Kacip patima. So the local natives here, they would eat this for some health properties that I'm not very sure of, but I will find out and let you know. Is it for libido or something? Yeah, it's for libido. But you know, I wouldn't want to eat my beautiful plant if I had one. Okay, let's explore what else is here. This is a very healthy Alocasia dragon scale, doing very well under quite a lot of shade. So yeah, so it doesn't mind to have a good amount of shade. And then as we walk further along, there is the Cercestis mirabilis, always a spectacular plant. It is an aroid that originates from the African continent. So it is not native to Malaysia, but yeah, we can increasingly find them more and more available. So that was on this side we just saw. Now we turn over here, and I like how underneath each tree, and he has maybe about 5 or 6 trees. There is like its own little wonderland. And here what we have here is some gigantic bird nest fern. For me, I feel like this is a really good plant to also maybe fill up some huge spaces that you want to cover, because it instantly just fills out everything if you don't want to be buying a lot of plants. And then here we have stuff hanging down, ferns, and then more creeping terrestrial kind of philodendrons at the bottom. The one that really catch my eye here is this one, because I actually have not seen this with my own eye. I believe that this is the philodendron peltatum. I am not sure, however, if this is a species or a hybrid with some kind of mame or plumania parentage, because it does have that kind of texture and veining. If you do know, please drop a comment and let me know. Oh, here, something that's very exciting also is the Dracaena cantilii. I have not seen this very much in the nurseries for sale at all. It is mostly now found in collectors' home. So this is a huge one and very exciting, a new leaf that's popping up here. And now we come to this charming little spot here. I just love it. I have taken quite a number of pictures sitting here, and I think it's the perfect Instagram spot. And right here, this plant is the Anthurium minahasa. And this is coming from a place that's located in North Sulawesi. And actually, it's just really, really eye-catching. The vase is incredible. And I have to say, of all the Anthurium that's here, this one is the one that caught my eye the most. Okay, now let's proceed to the back and see what other Ow! Okay, we should have some warning sign here. Okay, this is huge, very magnificent size. This is the Anthurium moderatum. Close enough. I'll drop the right name here. Let's see what else. I think these are a lot of crystallinum. This one, I am told, is a hybrid. Could you guess what it is? Give you a moment there. So this is a hybrid of the pappy, the pappy, what's the full name? I can't remember. And then the other parent is the dark mama. Did I say that right? Cut. So I have my tutor right in front. He corrected me. This is the Papillominum X Verde. And what does the Verde look like? The Verde looks like this. So this is one of the parent. So that was one pathway, and then this is another pathway right next to you. And this is a great design because then it gives you the feeling of you have to really walk around to explore the place. So the large plants that's here, when we plant, we always think about the larger plants here. And this year we have the bunga kantan, and then here we have some maybe heliconia, or yeah, I think these are heliconia, and some calathea lutea. This gives a very nice huge foliage, and also there are some trees around. And then you could then think about all these kind of middle level and ground cover plants. This is where the interesting plants are. So first up here we have a palm. I believe it is native to Sabah, and it's got this nice molting look. The ever-famous Montserrat High constellation. I have personally killed quite a lot, so I'm really curious how he is planting them here. Let me take a peep inside. Okay, so this is actually in the ground, so really impressive. I have only seen people kept it in pots, not seen them on the ground before. Looking very happy too, so you could consider planting yours in the ground if yours don't seem to be very happy in a pot. What else do we have here? Okay, so that's the Alocasia watsoniana. At one stage late last year, I think it was kind of all the rage on Instagram, so it was very pricey at the time. I see that the pricing has come down a little, so this is a good time to explore getting one if you have always wanted it. Okay, what else is around? Oh, I want to show you this little cute little plant. This is actually an orchid, believe it or not. It's called a nervilla, and the leaves are like, yeah, quite superb. I'll see if I could find a bigger one. I think I can see a bigger one that's here. So beautiful. So they kind of go into dormancy sometimes, I find. So mine has disappeared and then come back up. Oh my God, this is like bromeliad heaven. This is such a happy space, guys. Everything is just so bright and colorful. So I actually have to confess, I don't know very much about bromeliads. So I had a really quick tutorial with the man of the garden, and he had shared with me some names. So I can share with you that. And they have really strange names. This one is called a private dancer. Quite an exotic piece. And then this one here is the sugar daddy. The sugar daddy is pink in color. And then this one, which looks like it's got splattering of blood, this is the chili con carne. I feel like it's just survived, it's gone through some kind of a murder scene. And then very close to it, and I do want to bring this out to you. Okay, it's this other one, and believe it or not, these are not the same bromeliad. This is called the Lorena. Could you tell what's the difference? It's much more red towards the edge compared to the chili con carne, but otherwise they look kind of almost the same to me. Anyway, a lot more bromeliads to get through, and look at this, guys. Isn't this so gorgeous? What we have here is a lot of kind of like a tiger stripe kind of bromeliad, and there are various types, but the one that truly stand out is actually the little one that's here on the ground. This one is called the Tiger Rama. I feel like this is the most beautiful one. The colors are dark and intense. I hate to say the other plants don't look as good, but yeah, this one looks very good. I'm told that this is pretty rare and only a few collectors in Malaysia has it. So of course now I would make it an aim in life to have one too. We've come to a section where we have more of the ninja type of bromeliads, and these are the ones that are looking more compact and have like a rosette pattern. I think this would be a great alternative to flowers in the garden because they look exactly like a flower. There's a cute smallish one that's right here. So as you can see, I feel like they even look better than the rose, and this certainly could last a lot longer. For me, this is like the perfect bromeliad. It's green primarily, but with red lining and then little red edges. That's right at the tip. It's just such a beautiful form. I think I want to try and lift it up and show you. It's practically, oh, it's very heavy, so I can't lift it up. It's kind of a half round. So very cute and round type. And here we've come to another section, and what catch my eye here are these ones. They are not terribly colorful, but I feel like the pattern is really intricate and gorgeous. These, I understand, are the freesia type, and then there's actually three. There's one here, also known as the red chestnut for that particular color, and then that's the green version that's over there. I think, yeah, it's kind of stands out in its own way, in its own muted, subtle way. There is another bromeliad here that catch my eye. It's a tiny one, a little strange, I feel, but it's really kind of eye-catching because of its form, and also the pattern is just, I wonder what's the name, and thankfully there's a label here. It's Bill, and it's another dimension. I was right. I say like this look kind of like alien-like. And before we leave this lovely bromeliad pergola, I just share with you a few bromeliad care tips from the owner. So he has planted them all in 100% cocoa chip. But as we know, in our very kind of high humidity environment here in Malaysia, that means we have to be careful on the watering side. So he waters it only about once every week, and if it rains, you know, then he doesn't bother to water it at all. And another care tip which I found very interesting is he said to never fertilize, because what happens when he attempted to fertilize was the leaves became elongated, so it lost that kind of the fullness. It became like a scrawny bromeliad. And so I find that is a very useful tip too. So give them the conditions that they like, which is ample sunlight. So as you can see here, this is a pergola, which is about 50% shade netting. So filtered light for at least 6 to 8 hours a day. I think that is it for the bromeliad care. Let me know how you care for your bromeliads. Oh, but before we go, practice self-care when working with bromeliads. Bromeliads have thorns, and so it could get really painful. Look at the scratches on his hands, and these are the scratches on my hands when I was working with bromeliads a few weeks ago. So do use gloves and wear long sleeve. Now we move on to another section. There's another pergola to look at. Let's see what's in there. This pergola has a totally different vibe to it. I feel like this is more dreamy and whimsical. Maybe it's the stuff that's hanging around, the Spanish moss. And then, oh, okay, this really catch my eye. This group of tree tillandsia, they are incredibly healthy. And first of all, I like that he has tree in a group. I always advocate for, when you think about designing your garden, to have things that are in odd numbers. So I'm very happy that there is like a trio of tillandsia here. And here, I think they're getting a healthy amount of light, also under a shaded cloth. So maybe you have 50% light all throughout the day. And for air plants, it is essential that you give it very good ventilation and healthy amount of light for it to be in this condition. Now let's see what other goodies we have. This is, I think, a Veitchii. This one is interesting. This is nearly like the Delta Force. Not quite, but I think this is an Anthurium that's attempting to be a Delta Force. This one here is a hybrid. This is a cross between Papilaminum and Ace of Spades. Can't wait to see what it grows up to be like. And then we have the Queen here that we all know so well. Now we move on to some interesting hybrids that really caught my eye. Could you guess now what is the hybrid of this? I think its parents are pretty obvious. So this has Veitchii as well as Forgetii. And actually, yeah, I quite like this. It's very unique. I hope he could make some babies soon that I could get one of them. We've seen largely what's at our eye level and what's up there. I like to draw attention to also what's on the ground because it looks so nice and healthy. So he's got nice creeping philodendrons sitting amidst the Selaginella. I think that is the Glorism or Pastazanum, I'm not sure. This is the SP Columbia. And if you're wondering what are these beautiful ferns, these are actually not ferns, but these are Selaginella. And they grow very easily if you give them the right condition. I have them and they're practically like weeds in my garden. A very good ground cover to use. He has also the Philodendron luxuriant, and I'm checking out, it is indeed grounded. I think I would start to do the same for my garden so that they're not confined to the pots. What else? Oops. Okay, I keep bumping into pots. I'm just gonna sit down here now. And then here we have the silver dragon. Oh, looking very good. Also on the ground. I feel like although they're on the ground, they're not like in soil, they're in chunky mix of pumice reporting from you.
pumice and perlite and cocoa husk. Did I guess right? Okay, great. So very nice. You know what? I am feeling really comfortable where I am now. If you have enjoyed this episode, do remember to click share and subscribe, and then like the video, because that's when YouTube knows that I've made a video. Thank you very much for watching, and to my next video. Bye bye.